Hello friend, welcome back. This is Amit Pathak. So today I am going to explain about one project. I will describe that project, and here actually I utilize the concept of Hibernate. And before starting to this project, you have to little bit need the idea related to struts, because we are developing a web application using struts technology. As well as if you have a little bit idea about tiles, then it's okay. And anyhow, I am going to explain about all the things, so it is a very easy to understanding about that. So first I will quickly walk through that project, and I will show you that how that project is working and how much field we have. So quickly we will run it and we will check that how that application is working. So here actually we have to develop one web application, and a web application we have to run under the Tomcat server. You can utilize any server, but it's the easiest way. Just download one Tomcat server and just create one dynamic web project, and you just create this kind of a structure. Here under the src you just create com.techform.bin package. The next package is com.techform.dao, where we have all the DAO, and the next is com.techform.hibernate. After that, techform service, and after that we will create techform.to, where we have all transfer object kind of thing, and we have a hibernate util package here and configuration package here, and we have a mapping related file available here. So this is related to core application, and we can apply the same functionality top of the that annotation also. So we will just check that how that project is working, and after that I will explain that how we can develop it. So run on server. So this is a project. I would like to I run here in the Tomcat server, and it is running under the 808 package. So 808 port is here. We utilize a by default port itself, HTTP 8080, and it is running localhost. So we'll check here itself. So here we can create a new user, or already we have some user, then we can utilize that. So MySQL table I will show you first. Just quickly walk through that application, then we can easily understand about that functionality. So I have admin. So actually I am using a visual path 23. We'll quickly check that what the database we are using. So database related configuration here in cfc.xml. So we are using a visual path 23. So we'll use that. Use visual path 23. So database change. So now we have a 3 table: category table, query table, and user table. So just select star from users, and here 2 user is there. One full name is Amit, and his email ID is amit@gmail.com, or Amit K Pathak, and username is Amit12345, and Amit123. So we can log in through that 2 user. So I just want to create one new user, and we will check that it's how the new ID means new value inserted in the particular user table. So here we are here. So we are going to create a new sign in user. So here full name we will write, like we will write Sumit Prakash, and email ID Sumit P @gmail.com or visualpath.com. And we'll put some password. I just want to push at visualpath. Sumit, start with capital Sumit 1 2 3 4 5. Username, or username is Sumit Prakash itself. Sumit Prakash. And here we will pass the password as it is. Start with capital S Sumit and capital P Prakash. So we will use Sumit Prakash. So just sign in here, sign up. So yeah, Sumit Prakash. We would like to save, then save. We will quickly check that here the data enter in the particular database or not. So select a star from users. So now we see that we have a third data entry that is called, that full name is Sumit Prakash, and that email ID is Sumit P @visual.com, and after that username Sumit Prakash and password also Sumit Prakash. So whenever we utilize that credential, either we can log in through Amit, either we can log in through Sumit. So what it happen, once you will log in, that application will be remember your credential, and here we will see that yeah, welcome Sumit Prakash something, and you can pass his photo also according to database. You will show here like that. You can make some profile kind of thing also, like a Facebook it's mentioning, and you would like to show lot of information related to Sumit Prakash, like his DOB, his images, and his interest, his address, mobile number, something. Then we will create a new table related to user, and we will assign through that particular ID. Through user ID we can assign that functionality there. So this one is the table information related to user, and after that we will quickly see that what is the category. Through that we can, at least we will get the idea what data and where we going to store that. So we have category, spelling mistake, O is missing. So category, we have a category ID and category name. For example, I will show you that application, what is the ID and what we are going to do here. So just think about that. If any user want, so this application will provide you to create your credential through that new user sign up, and after that you can log in this application. So once you log in this application, you can submit your question related to particular technology. So whatever technology be supported, according of that only you can write your query. So what the query is there, so anyone can log in, or teacher can log in, or professor can log in, or a student itself, they can select the particular question and they can answer that. So according of that, multiple user log in here and they raise multiple question, and according of that anyone can answer anything. Like that, lot of site is here that have like, we will search something, what is Java 8. So we'll get some okay, internet connection is not there, so no problem. So what actually I try to say that means any user, they can create its credential. After through that credential they can log in, and after login they can select in which technology they want give the answer. So like is a home page, here we can provide much more information also. If you would like to provide more information related to Sumit Prakash, we have to provide that information here. So we can create one more table related to particular user, and we will fetch the data how we are fetching his name. According of that only we can fetch all the data and we will show here. And here if you would like to post some query, so we will go here, post query, and here we will select according of that what query we would like. So we will want Hibernate, web services. Now we have only 3 type of queries. So we can if we would like to increase this value, so we have to increase field under the category table. So now we have a Java, Hibernate and web service. According of that only 3 field is coming here. So we will add one more field here, insert that value, one more field here, then one more value will come. I will show you that. We will check that again how we are inserting that value inside that. So like that here we will write, and we'll select Java, and we will write any question, subject Java 6 or Java 5 or only Java, and we can write some description like that, what is very question, what is Java itself. And we can post that query. So what happened, we can see that query inside that query table. So we have, so what the subject we are returning, we are enter here like Java, and we selected the category. So category is Java, and our posted question is what is Java. Like that other question is also posted. So who is posted, that author is Amit123, that username we will register, add here, and posted date also we will add here. So posted date format, it's a little bit wrong, so we can modify it and we will make that particular logic. So that thing that automatically will taken, who is login through that particular value will be stored here. For example, I log out here and we will log in through that another person credential. So other person is Sumit Prakash. So Sumit Prakash, username is Sumit Prakash, start with capital, and password is also Sumit Prakash. So we log in through that Sumit Prakash. Username and password both are Sumit Prakash, and we will log in it. So we will log in Sumit Prakash, and we will post query something related to different like a web service, and we will write here any query related to web service. Like a JAXB subject, and we will type here, or we will write here SOAP. I will write here what actually it's a table. We have to utilize a few CSS, through that we can arrange that category, subject and description. We will provide a big text here. So very less CSS work is required. Also left side we can do the less CSS work also, through that it will be arranged. So CSS work is pending, so it is your task. Just modify this CSS. You will put lot of CSS, just search in the Google, you will get lot of template. According of that you can arrange it. So we can in description we will ask the question like what is SOAP and difference or SOAP versus REST. So what is this thing? I just asking this query, so we'll just post this query. So we'll see here again, we will write the query. Okay, that operation is going on. So be able to see that Sumit Prakash added SOP subject and he wrote that what is a SOAP and SOAP versus REST. So here it will become, yeah, now it is there. So subject SOAP and author who submitted, we will use user ID and we will store here Sumit Prakash, and when he added that date modification is not correct, so we will modify this code. So okay, some date is coming and category is a web services and question is here. So according of that, if we want to modify, then he can edit here and he can change that thing, SOAP versus REST here, as well as what is REST. So I just want to save. So now our question is changed and we see here what exactly is changing or not. So we see that, yeah, what is a SOAP and what, and SOAP versus REST, as well as that we have to increase that size. Okay, we will see here the query itself. If we can view queries and we can select. So here view is not working, so we'll click here. So we query ID, author Sumit Prakash, posted here, subject description and SOAP, and what is category of web services. We can arrange through that CSS here. So after that we can post the answer also and we can cancel it. So this is a application. Here what happen, user can come, they can register. Okay, after register, here we have a category. So in the category they can select in means a provided technology. According of the, after that selection, they can provide a subject, in which subject they want ask a question, and after we have a description. In description they can ask the question and they can post it. After the posting, we can view all the question related according of that technology. So in the Java web services we have only one. If we search Java, so view query, so Java we have a 3 question. According of that search we can see it, and if the we can edit here and we can submit our query here, and if we want to post particular answer, then through that people can post here. So it's this Java Tech Power means what happen, means what of benefit of that. So any can come here, they can log in, and after that they can view questions. So if many people will utilize this one, for example means for the fresher related, we have created this Java J2EE related query. So here I ask that each and everyone who is attending a fresher related job, they are searching a fresher related job, and we ask that if you attend any interview, you just go through that this application and write your question here. So at a time, if 50 or 20 or 200 people are using and they are collecting all the questions related to what exactly the company write. So here we can see that even the subject we can write that company, particular company, and after that we will see that means what the question they are asking. According of that we can also search that if we are going to TCS or we are going to HCL or we are going to Wipro, so what the question they are asking. So according of that we can search which company what the question they are asking, and we can prepare according of that, because this take form become like a question bank, and here everyone can post that question and everyone can modify that question and write that question. So according of that, we will find that what the exact answer is there and how we can behave, and we can prepare our questions related to particular company and particular topic. So this take form will help multiple students to gain increasing the knowledge as well as understanding the interviewer behavior, and it will be very helpful for awareness of all the students to particular technology, as well as the company wise interviewers, what their expectation and what the question they are asking. So here we can modify little bit related to particular CSS, but the functionality wise it is working each and everything. So we will quickly go through that function and we'll check that how it is working. So table wise, now we are using only 3 table. So we have a category table, we have a query table, we have a user table. So user table, we are writing a user information. Through that we are provide a credential to log in that particular tick form, and after that we have a query. Query means whatever the query will be registered, that is related to particular technology wise it will be stored there. And here we have a category, so we can if you would like to provide a new technology, then we can insert in one new row, select a star from category, from F is missing. So now we are providing only support Java, Hibernate and web services. Later I will show you that how we can insert one row and how quickly it will be effect on the web page side. So now we will check that the coding side, how we can achieve it. So here I will just stop this application. We will walk through that code, and after that I will start it again and I will show you that how it functionality is working. So because we are try to understand the Hibernate related things, so quickly we will first understand the Hibernate. After that I will explain about that how struts is working here and how tiles and using here. So we are using a 3 technology here: tiles, Hibernate and struts. So Hibernate, I think I already explained about each and everything, so I am not thinking you will get any problem to writing this application, but maybe you will get few problem in struts related configuration and tiles related configuration. That I will explain very well here, and I will provide that complete code also. Through that you can easily configure your functionality. So we will start with the Hibernate configuration itself. So Hibernate configuration will start always with configuration path. So just quickly check that how this functionality is there. So creating this project, you just if you have this project, just right click and import, and here not existing Maven project, you go to the general. So this is the general, and if you just click existing project in workspace, after that you just browse it, and once you browse you just click OK, and you will get this project. So once you will get this project, you can directly right click on that project, run as, and here just run on server. So here what you have to do, you have to define one server. So if you just download Tomcat 5, 6, 7, 8 anything, so once you will download this one, you have to go to next and you have to run it. So I already did this thing, and here actually if you want modify, you have to add your Tomcat server. So here just browse it, and where your Tomcat server is there, just add under the Tomcat field and just finish it. After that it is ready to use. So actually I already did this application process, so I will show you that how this functionality will work and how we can change this Java 7, because I already imported this one. So we cannot add same kind of two version at a time. So here we will just do the next, and after that if you want to move this side, then move it. Otherwise you will just move here, because this is one more project is there. So this side means left side available project is there, this is a configured project. So what you want to run, that will be come into the right side. So you would like to run 4 and 5 project, then all project will be in the configured side, and after that you just click the finish. So once you will click the finish, it's automatically start this application. And I think my application is already running, so maybe it will be through exception related to that port is already utilized kind of thing. We have to stop this function, then only we can start. So now we can run it. So Java application will just check that it is stop or not. Yeah, so it is stopped. So we'll run it again. Sorry, right click, run on server, and after that what server we added here, we can run on that itself. So once we start the server, and again if you would like to start it, so it will not work, because we already utilize that particular port, and at a time we cannot two functionality cannot use the same port. So that time 80 is already utilized by the some other process that I already start with before of that, and we could not force that two process utilize the same port number. So that reason that function is not work. What the CSS I apply here, this kind of CSS we can apply in all the application, and we can quickly we can little bit customize this application, but function wise this is working fine. So here Sumit Prakash can log in and he can view that information. Okay, we will see that. So correct. So we'll start with, just close it. Sometime we'll see that what the code reflected, it is not reflecting there, and that behavior, our application behavior is not correct. So what should we do? Just delete it, this one, remove here, not the Tomcat, under that what the process is running, what the project is running, that just delete it. And after you will go here it's automatically build is there. So always click that auto build. So it will be whenever your code will be changed, that automatically generate a class file. Other thing is there, we have to clean. So sometime what happened, that dot class file is created and it will be stored inside that particular location, and whenever we are building it or whenever we are doing sometime, then class file is not changing. It's some problem will be there, they will not allow you to modify that thing. So what we can do, that we will go here project and we can clean it. So clean will be do here, it will be run completely, and that will be clean all the dot class file and they can regenerate the dot class file. So if the some class or some Java file behavior is not good, or if we modify some file and that is not working effectively, and what the modification is there that is not reflecting under our application, so through that we can solve our problem, and through that we can reflect newly changes on the application. So once we see here, this Tomcat is stopped, as well as no application inside of that. So now we can run it. Sorry, I am always running the Java project, but here we have to utilize server, the Tomcat server we are using. We are already registered, choose existing. If you want to register new manual means server, then you can select, and you can select any server, as well as other than Tomcat. If you want, you can select any other server also. So actually we are using a Tomcat. It's very easy, that's why we are using a Tomcat. So now I already registered server is there, so I will choose an existing server and I will select here. So we will go here and we will click that finish button. So this application is working fine. So here this Eclipse UI related part, some CSS may not work, so we can deploy under the particular browser, so we can find that functionality work here. Yeah, so we are able to see this application. So now we quickly see that how Hibernate configuration is there and how we are dealing with the Hibernate. After that I will explain about tiles and starts. So if you would like to understand how I Hibernate any existing project, then we just go to the first Hibernate configuration file. So we see that lot of Hibernate configuration file and be aware about that thing. So I just close all the existing thing and we will click this one. So here this function, little bit I just increase that font size. So increasing the font size, you just go to the window, after that preference, and here under the general appearance, here color and font is there, just click that color and font. After that under the basic, so basic font, the text font we would like to change. So size is 11, that font style is regular, you can change that font type also. So I just want to change 14, 16, I think 14 is enough. Just apply, we'll see that. Yeah, so it is quite, it's visible, so no problem, just apply and close. So now the same configuration is here. So under the session factory, we can configure our all related session factory thing that we would like to configure. Like we are going to utilize a MySQL, so we have to register that MySQL connection provider thing. So MySQL have a driver class, that driver class is com.mysql jdbc driver. After that we have to register URL, that we are registering jdbc MySQL localhost. Actually my MySQL is running under the 3307 port number, so I created here added 3307 port number. After that we are using a visual path 23 as a DB. So here after login, so databases, so we have visual path 23, so we are using our all the table under the visual path 23. So visual path, so now we are using a visual path, so tables, so a spelling mistake. So we have a category, query and user. So 3 table we are going to utilize, but main thing here, all table available in visual path 23, and after that we are using a root and admin. So we are not recommended to add password inside that particular configuration. We can utilize through the programmatically, and after that we can encrypt and decrypt that particular password. Through that means anyone, if they walk through that code, they cannot find it what the password we are using. So if you are not aware of that, how we can do here, so we just see that my last video where I already saw that how we can utilize directly under the configuration class. When we are creating that configuration equal to new configuration, there itself we can use set password, set username, the method is there, and inside that we can call that particular method that is responsible to encrypt and decrypt the password. So we will encrypt it and we will provide once, and when we are try to retrieve that particular table, that time it's again decrypted and provide to the databases. So after that we have to register here dialect. That dialect means we are not going to create a table, some kind of thing, and even some HTML kind of thing is there, or any persistent based operation is there. So internally Hibernate is automatically create the particular query or related to configuration thing. But here we know that Hibernate we are going to utilize, because of that we don't have a particular database dependency. So whenever we would like, for example, I am using right now MySQL, and if we will get the requirement to convert MySQL to Oracle, so that time we just have to change that particular configuration file. We don't need to change anything related to particular class or inside that particular business logic. We just have to change the configuration, and automatically Hibernate runtime system can, or he is capable to handle related to particular database. So once we have to write some query, like we are writing some query from a student S. So we know that from a student S means select a star from a student. So for example, MySQL, if we are having internally some different query, and Oracle have the different query. So Hibernate runtime system have to generate particular database related query or the configuration related thing. When they are going to create a table automatically, they have to generate that particular query related to particular databases. So how that Hibernate know what internal operation we are going to perform on the particular database, what exact thing we have to generate, and that query or related configuration when we will generate, in which data type we will generate. So through that pointing we have to provide dialect. So there we are saying that to Hibernate runtime system, whenever you have to require to generate particular database operation, you can generate related to MySQL. So we are using a MySQL as a internal operation when you deal with the particular database, and after that this show SQL will be show that true, means what the SQL will be generated we can see inside that console. And HBM to DDL auto we are updating, means we will create that particular table, and the next time what the data will become, it will be update. So here we can use create also. So what happen, whenever the project will be run, that will be all table information last time what we have to push inside, that will be delete, and it will be create a new table, that fresh table. So if we write a create, then we will lost all the data that is available inside the database. So whenever you have a data in the table, don't use create. So what create will be do, that will be destroy all the table information completely, and after that top of that they will create a new table, and after that they will perform that particular operation that we would like to perform on it. So after we have a resource, because we are using a core configuration, so when we would like to create a annotation configuration, you have to change here. So just after this application, just try to build the same application with using a Hibernate annotation part. But here right now what we are doing, we just adding a 3 configuration file, because we have a 3 tables here. We are using a category table, we are using a user table, and we are using a query table. So that same configuration, category, query and user, that Hibernate mapping file we registered here. How will register that? Through that mapping resource, and we will provide a complete classified file system path. So when we will provide a complete class related path, we have a com dot here, a tick form dot hibernate dot category, not dot hvm dot xml anything here. But when we will provide a particular file related path here, so we have to use that slash. So com dot slash dot tick form slash dot hibernate slash dot category dot hvm dot xml. So hvm dot xml means we will saying that this file going to utilize for the mapping purpose. So same thing for query, same thing for user, and after that session dot factory we can close it. So next point is there, we have to register 3 file here, category, query and user. So we'll see that this is available com dot take form dot hibernate package. So where is the com dot take form dot hibernate package? So this is a package com dot take form dot hibernate. So we have a 3 mapping file here. So here we will quickly walk through that what the 3 file we are using. So a mapping file we will map under the hibernate mapping, and after that we will provide the particular package. So we have a com dot take form dot hibernate as a package, and we are using a class name category. So we have this category here. So that if you would like to move this under the model classes like com dot take form dot hibernate dot model, so we have to provide here com dot take form dot hibernate dot model, and after we have a class name category, table category, and after that id, name equal to cid, column equal to cid, and type equal to int. That is a for identity generator. So category table, this category table, so we have category name as a cat name here, and we have a few thing here. So cat id 1 2 3, that will be automatically generated, that is responsible to this generator. So we are using id, name, cat id, column, cat id, and type equal to int. After we have a generator, class equal to increment. So I already show you in my previous video that how we can utilize other id generator like a uid, guid, native increment, many kind of different id that provided by Hibernate runtime system. Even that id is not sufficient for our application, then we can create our id through utilizing a id generator algorithm, and we just write our classes. After that we will implement that identifier generator interface, and we will override that generator method that is returning a serializable value, and we can add that classes here. We can, for example, we will identity generator class, it's some classified package like com.takefile.bin here, then we have to provide com.takeform.bin.particular id generator class, and according of that id will be automatically generated. Other than we have one property, that property name is equal to cat name, that we are going to use as it is, because we not provided any name, so it will be used cat name itself here. So this cat name is there, so after that we will push all the category related thing here. So this file is completed, so category file is completed. Next is a query. So we'll see that how query table is here and what the exact information it is storing. Okay, so I have this query table. So query table have query id, that is a primary key that is going to generate automatically. After that we have a subject, author, post date, category name and description. What the question we are asking, that will come under the description. So we will register this subject, author, post date, category name and description, and query ID will register as a primary key. So same thing here, class we will start with the Hibernate mapping. After package com.takeform.hibernate, after class name query, table query, and we have ID, query ID, column query ID, and we have utilizing ID as a integer as a primary key. After that generator class, we just would like to create an increment order. So the other field we have to register as it is. So property name we will register as a subject, name author, name post date, name cat name, name a description. So we will register this thing. So that all will be registered under the Hibernate mapping, and inside that Hibernate mapping we will provide a complete path related to this thing. So through that we can understand that where exactly this file, this class path is available. So we are pointing com.takeform.hibernate, means here com.takeform.hibernate.query is available. So this is the class, and here this have a query ID, subject, author, cat name, post date and description. So here this thing we are going to initialize under this parameterized constructor, but query ID we are not going to initialize here. Means once we will create a query, that time that object is called transient object, and that object don't have a primary key, and whenever that will be participate in the session operation going to commit, that time only Hibernate runtime system is responsible to push that particular query here. So how that query means primary key is generated, that will be generated through that registration here. So we have to ID generator registration there. Under ID we have to provide this information. After that we have a generator class increment. So whenever a primary key is required, whenever our object go to inside that transaction, that time Hibernate will be generate a primary key and push that related to particular primary key field in the particular value that will be generated by Hibernate runtime system automatically. And we have other field, subject, author, post date, category, description here. So subject, author, category, post date and description here, that will be registered as it is. So it's complete class under the Hibernate mapping, because here we have the mapping related file and we have a package. So all this particular class, query class available inside that com.takeform.hibernate. This query class is available com.takeform.hibernate package. So same next user .hbm.xml is here. So what the user table is here. So user, we have a full name, email, username and password. So here user ID again going to generate as a primary key. So primary key we are not going to initialize under the parameterized constructor, because we will register into the generator class, and that automatically will generate whenever that object will be go inside that session cache, and after that when we'll do the commit. So when the transaction operation is started, that time that ID will be a particular value will be generated. So how we'll register this thing, we'll see here again inside that Hibernate mapping. We will write that package com.takeform.hibernate, and we have a class that we are using a user class, that class related information, and the table we will generate a user. So if we not pass this thing, then it will be generated like a user table itself. So if you would like to generate a something new table, or you would like to use some other name like that, you would we have a lot of table, and here we would like to means point out that what type of table is there. So we are using a take form application, so we will use take form underscore user kind of thing. So we can utilize that take form under the user and we will utilize it. So what actually I would like to see here, so whatever mapping we will do, that will provide under the package, and package we have a complete classified path where exactly that entity class is available, and we have to register that entity class under the class name, that is a user. So whenever it will be point what the class is there, it will use like that internally. It will be take here name, and it will be find out this class path, query dot, now user dot class. So internally they are using like that. So our configuration done. This all three configuration file we have to register inside that Hibernate configuration file. So all the mapping file information under the configuration file, and all mapping related file have a information related to particular entity classes. So entity classes, what we will do, we will define that field, that like category class we have a two field, category ID and category name. After that we have a parameterized constructor here, put the default constructor also, and after that we have a getter setter method. If you want to see that object related inside the console also, we can add the toString method, that I already many times mentioned that how the toString method is working and how it is involved when we are try to print some object on the console. So the next is a query. So again this query ID is a primary key, this is a primary key. So we are not going to initialize under the parameterized constructor, because Hibernate is responsible to push that particular value in during the runtime, and we will initialize that all value other than that here to down, and we can create an object. So whenever we will call this constructor and create an object, so this kind of object is called transient object, and after that when it will be passed successfully what means completed the operation, then that type of object is called persistent object. And if that object is passed in the particular operation, and sometime that will be a that not have a successful commit, then that type of object will be called detached object. I already explained many times. So this is a very important interview question also. What is the state of object? And after that we have getter and setter method of related to particular field. User table. So user table we have a user ID as a primary key. This is a primary key. And next we have a three field related to full name, email, user and password. Again we will create a default constructor, because we know that once the parameterized constructor we will put Hibernate means JVM Java virtual machine, it's not responsible to put parameterized constructor or default constructor here. But when we don't write any constructor, JVM is automatically pushing one default constructor. So sometime a Hibernate runtime system is using a default constructor, and if they not found the default constructor, then they will throw the exception. So later when we are going to write any entity classes, we are creating any parameterized constructor, then we just add one default constructor itself there. So I did the same thing here. So we have a default constructor here, just a default constructor. And after that I have a parameterized constructor where we are initializing full value, email, user name and password, and after we have a getter and setter method. So that thing is done. The next thing we will start with the how we are using a Hibernate functionality and how we can utilize that functionality. So here we will go through that first, how we'll create a session factory. So we are always using a util classes, C Hibernate util, where we are creating a session factory. So here I have a session C Hibernate util classes. Here we have a static session factory that we are going to create here. After that static block, inside that static block we have the code. So we are writing under the try and catch. So if you would like to use some logger file, so we can utilize here logger. So now we are not doing any logging related thing, so we just throw our exception inside the console itself, and if some exception will become, we'll see that how we can fix it. So here what we are doing, we are calling configuration equal to new configuration, after that cfg.configure, and we have a factory cfg.build session factory. So here building a session factory, we can utilize it. So configuration is a class, and that is the first class that should be instantiated and initialized by the Hibernate runtime system. So whenever any Hibernate it's start to running, first that class configuration class will be initialized. And what is the task of that configuration class? That task of that configuration class, we are calling a configure method through that instance, and we are calling a build session factory through that instance. Once we will call configuration.configure this class, means through that instance, this method means they will start initializing all related data that will be wrote here. So what the value it will be created here, we can means that dot configure method is responsible, and some error will become like the category 1 or something will write here like category 1111, and that dot xml file is not available here. So what it will be, throw exception itself here. So I just one second. Under configuration, so we just run that application. We will see that during that configuration itself, it will be throw exception, and all of that we'll see that it is working or not. Yeah, so it's already start, so we'll stop it first, otherwise port related exception will come. So whenever we going to restart this application, either you will click here and restart it, either you have to stop and again run on server. So we have a 2 modification. So yes, we would like to save it, and here we will go and we'll check that and we'll finish it. So now we are expecting that here one exception will become during the configuration, because we are registered some wrong file, that file is not available. So during that login, it's nothing will come, but after that, when Hibernate call will start, that time we'll get some exception. So that exception, something will here. So we'll see that in the console exactly what exception it is throwing. That initialization related, actually this a web application, we are not getting here exactly application error, but this happened because of that initialization not working correctly. Just stop it. So I just try to explain about this thing, means here if anything will become related to this configure, so it will be a create a problem during this Hibernate cfg.xml related thing. And how that automatically know that have to read that Hibernate cfg.xml. So by default, when we are called .configure method here, so cfg.configure we can call two-way .configure. Sorry. So here, so configure method, either we can call like this any without parameter, either we can call like a document, either we can call like a file system, either we can like a string resource. So here why that other means parameter is here. So whenever we'll call this particular method configure, that's default without parameterize, that will be check in this root location src, under that any file that name is hibernate.cfg.xml. So this is a by default file, and it will be not create any problem to reading this. But when you would like to change Hibernate cfg.xml to another application like visualpath.cfg.xml, so we have to provide complete classified path under here, and then only it will be work. So if we don't want to provide a file name, then what we have to do, we have to create a file that name is hibernate.cfg.xml, and after that we will put under the root location under the src, then it will be work fine. It's not complain anything. But when we want to change that file name and we would like to put somewhere in different location even the same file name, then we have to provide complete classified path of that name under the configuration method when we are creating a configure. So this method is responsible to read that all value and initialize into the memory, and whenever Hibernate have the need that information, they will use that means build session factory. Through that factory they will do the operation. So here the configuration is the class, that is the first class that is instantiated during the Hibernate runtime system, and this is a single threaded and short-lived object. Single threaded means this only one thread is activated and they are just responsible to read Hibernate configuration document, and after that configuration method, once the configure related part comes under the configure object, after that is responsible to call build session factory method. So all the information come under the factory method, that is build session factory method, and that build session factory method is build session factory object is responsible to hold all the information that we register inside that configuration XML file. So now that build session factory have all the information, that information before of that have the configuration file. So once that information transfer into the session session factory object, no longer use of the configuration object. So session factory object is a long lived as well as that can handle the multiple thread. So that configuration method configuration class have only two tasks. Once they are responsible to call that particular create call that configure method. Through that configure method it will read complete configure file, and after that they are responsible to call build session factory method, and here build session factory method is responsible to create a session factory kind of object. So configuration is a single thread and short lived, but build session factory is a long lived, and here it have all information related to configuration. Once the session factory object is created, no longer use of the configuration object. So this is the configuration of this session factory object, and whenever we required any Hibernate operation we can utilize this functionality. So now I will explain the other related this application, this text form, in the next video. This video up to that it's fine, just go through that what I exactly explain, and we will meet in the that second part of the text form video. Now till now, thanks for watching this video.